सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आवीरावीर्म एधि वेदस्य म आणीस्तः कृतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेन अदितेने अहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मावतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. This is the Shanti mantra for all the Upanishads that belong to the Rig Veda. For example, the Aitreya Upanishad or the Kaushtaki Upanishad. न्यस्तात्मीयबलं वरप्रदगुरौ वैराग्यभाग्यो ददौ वेदान्तामृतसारवन्तमनघा श्रीश्रीनिवासाद्गुरोः श्रीशैलान्वयकौस्तुभस्य तनयं श्रेयो निधे श्रीनिधेः वन्दे साधुकटाक्षकेळिनिलयं श्रीकृष्णसद्धेशिकम् गीतासु गीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रसङ्ग्रहैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्मात् विनिसृता मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीतां स्नानं संसारमलनाशनम्. So we had left at this verse on chapter 6, talking about how we should be our own friend. Bandhuratma atmanastasya enatma ivatma. If you didn't do that, ena iva atmanajitaha. Anatmanastu shatrutve vartet atmaiva shatruvat. When one has self-control, oneself becomes one's friend. When during the lack of self-control, one lacks it, one's own self becomes one's enemy. So let us move on to the new verse today. Titatmana prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha manapa manayoho. But one who has conquered the self, jitatmanaha, has united paramatma samahitaha. He has united with the Supreme. He is always in peace. Prashantasya he is. And he is also shitoshna sukha dukkheshu, as well as the duality of hot and cold conditions, heat and pleasure or pain, sukha dukkha, and tada manapa manayoho, and in honor or dishonor. In all those things, he will have been united with the Supreme. None of these things will bother him, whether sad or joy or hot and cold, fame and infame. If somebody talks bad of that person or good of that person, it really doesn't change that person anyway, because he is united himself with the Supreme. Jitatmana prashantasya
जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य
paramatma samahitaha
परमात्मा समाहितः
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु
तथा मानापमानयोः.
तथा मानापमानयोः.
There's a little manava here. It's manapamanayoः. Okay. So it describes the state of that person further. Gnana vignana triptatma kutastho vijitendriyaha yukta ityuchyate yogi samaloštashma kanchanaha. This yogi who is steadfast, it is jitatma. He is steadfast in the yoga. Yoga yuktaha. He is also conquered the senses. He is viditendriya. And and his mind doesn't wander. Kutastha means it is established tha. So it doesn't wander. And such a person, um, he, his mind, his person has uh, through knowledge, jnana, vijnana triptatma. So he knows both aspects, the material aspect as well as practical aspect as well as the theoretical aspects. So we know the gnana and vijnana. Vijnana is practical aspect like science. Gnana is theoretical or wisdom. So he knows both of them. Um, in other words, he has fully analyzed from both aspects any issue. And he has attained fulfillment through knowledge and experience. He's Gnana, Vijnana. So knowledge and Gnana is knowledge, Vijnana is experience. Through knowledge as well as and experience, uh, he has attained Triptatma, his content. He has attained fulfillment. So yogi one who is steadfast, conquered senses, jitendriyaha, steadfast is kutastaha, and his mind doesn't waver, is kutastha. He has equal regard for gold, mud, or stone, because he is Nana Vignani. So he knows the value of gold. He knows gold is not mud. But for him, it doesn't make any difference. He has reasoned it out. Uh, Jnana Vignana Triptatma
ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा
Kutastho Vijitendriyaha
कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः
Yukta Ityuchyate Yogi
युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी
Samaloshthashma Kanchanaha.
समलोष्ठाश्मकाञ्चनः.
Yes. So all are same for him. They say that one of the anecdotes of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he used to, in one hand, he will carry some rupee notes or some money, and the other hand, he is carrying mud. He takes both of them, and he says he doesn't say he basically is indifferent to both, and he just offers both of them to the Ganga River. So he draws money as well as the mud, kind of expressing that Saralostashma Kanchanaha. Suhran Mitra Udasina Madhyasta Dveshpabandushu Sadhushvapi cha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vishishyate. The same concept of Samadharshi here. So his behavior is the same with his family, friends, foes, a mediator, Madhyastha is a mediator, someone who is just sitting is also their bystander, a saint, sadhu shvapi, sadhu, a papi, as well as a sinner. So such a person behaves the same way with all of them, with friends, Suhan Mitra, as well as enemy. Uh, he's Udasina. He's kind of looked them all. He doesn't discriminate between all these people, friends and enemies, friends and foes, family and other people, family members, mediator, madhyastha, a bystander, a saint, or a sinner. Thus he attains excellence. With that sama buddhi, because of that sama buddhi, he attains excellence. Suhan mitra rudasina
सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीन
madhyastadveshya bandhushu
मध्यस्थद्वेष्य बन्धुषु
sadhushvapi cha papeshu
साधुष्टपि च पापेषु
samabuddhir vishishyate.
समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते.
योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकी यत चित्तात्मा निराशीर परिग्रहः. Now this yogi with his mind and body under control, um, Yata Chittatma. Uh, Free from ownership. He doesn't have any parigraha. Nirashi, he doesn't have any kind of desire or greed or parigraha. Free from ownership and desires. A seeker of yoga. Now it talks about how one should do this. When you do that, and one who is a seeker of yoga should go to a secluded place. Rahasistita, establish himself in a secluded place, steadily meditate on the Atman in solitude. So in other words, with mind and body under control, free from ownership and desires, a seeker of yoga should go to secluded place and steadily meditate on the Atman in solitude. Yogi yunjita satatam
योगी युञ्जीत सततम्
atmanam rahasi sthitaha
आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः
ekaki yata chittatma
एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा
nirashira parigraha.
निराशीरपरिग्रहः.
Starting from this verse, he's giving some steps. Krishna is instructing um, basically dhyana, meditation, how to become, to get that kind of state of mind. Shutau deshe pratishtapya sthiramasanamatmanah natyuchritam nati nicham shailajina kushottaram. He's telling that find a shuchai, a clean place, in a clean place. Shuchau deshe pratishtapya, establishing oneself. How a firm street, sthiram asana, a firm seat, not yutritam, not nicham. It should not be too high, uh, nor too low. Established, not too low. And uh, ajina is deer skin. Shaila is of course cloth, and kusha is the kusha grass, or what we call the darba grass. So basically, in a clean place, Shuchau Deshe, one should set up a seat, pratishtapya, stable seat, neither too high nor too low, cover with uh, kusha grass, followed by deer skin and cloth in that order. In in our ancient tradition, even today, anything we do to make a place sacred, we first put the darba grass. Even anything we are doing, even to keep kalash over that or anything, we sanctify the place putting darba grass. And that's what he's suggesting here. Darba grass, over that the deer skin, and over that piece of cloth. Chuchau deshe pratisthapya
शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य
स्थिरमासनमात्मनः
स्थिरमासनमात्मनः
नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं
नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं
शैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम्.
शैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम्.
Then after being there on that seat, tatraikagram manakritva yata chittendriya kriyaha upavishyasane yunjat yoga atma vishuddhaye. After one should sit on such a seat which has been described in this previous verse, control the senses, um, and then control the senses and thoughts, chitta, indriya, kriyaha. Eta chitta, chitta, all the control of senses and thoughts. Then sit on that, right, and practice meditation for what? For yoga, atma vishuddhaye, for self-purification. So one should sit on the seat described before, control the senses and thoughts, and direct the mind, ekagram, the single pointed mind, manakritva, ekagram manaha kritva, a single point mind to a single object, single pointed object, and practice meditation for self purification. तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
यत चित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः
यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः
उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात्
उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात्
योगमात्मविशुद्धये.
योगमात्मविशुद्धये.
So the next two verses kind of follow, they continue. Then after that, समं काय शिरो ग्रीवं धारयन् न चलन् स्थिरः सम्प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वं दिशश्चानवलोकयन्. So then make the body, head and neck straight. Sama kaya shiro grivam. All of them make it straight in a straight posture and steady and still. And then looking at the Dharayan, keeping the body, head, and neck straight, steady and still, sthiraha. Then looking at the tip of the nose, not letting the eyes wander. Vishaschan avalokayan. Sampreksha nasikagram swam. One's uh, vision, eye should be, that's the tip of the nose. Nasikagram is actually beginning of the nose or the tip of the nose. Agra is the beginning, tip of the nose. Uh, some people consider this as the tip, beginning of the nose. Some people think the tip of the nose is what is farthest uh, in front of us. That is the tip, they think. But it doesn't matter. In the earlier verse, you showed bruvor madhye. So we can think of it as focusing on in between the eyebrows, or if you want, some people think it is the tip of the nose. It doesn't matter. In either case, you are not able to look at anything. Um, how can we look at our tip of our nose or between our eyebrows when we focus on that? So the sense here is the focus should be inward. Even if the eyes are open, you are focusing inward, not looking at anything else. So that's why when you try to focus on between the eyebrows or the tip of the nose, whichever way you define, either case you are not looking at anything. You're looking within, inward looking. Um, it's funny. Our daughter is named Netra, and she was in her sixth grade, and we took her to India on an India trip, and we went to see a holy man, this famous Rangapriya Swami, His Holiness, and he asked what we all prostrate, and then afterwards he asked, "What is your name?" She said her name is Netra. When he asked me, "Have you taught her any Tamil or Kannada or Indian language?" I said, "No." Then he started talking to her in English. So what does Netra mean? He asked. She said Netra means eyes. So what do you do with it? He asked. Of course, I see with it. That's what I use eyes for, she said. Then he asked, if you close your eyes, can you see anything? Uh, she said, no, I cannot see anything if I close my eyes. Then he asked, do you get any dreams? Uh, yeah. Is your eye closed or open? He said, yeah, my eyes are closed. You can see dream, right? But your eyes are closed. So then he told her that there is a eye, invisible eye between our eyebrows. That one, you should use that to see yourself inside. Even so, when your eyes are closed, also, you see that you should use to see the self or the God within you. He said she was only sixth grade, but I think she still remembers it. It's a it's a good way he explained it to her. Samankaya shiro grivam
समङ्काय शिरो ग्रीवम्
धारयन्नचलं स्थिरः
धारयन्नचलं स्थिरः
सम्प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वं
सम्प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वम्
दिशश्चानवलोकयन्.
दिशश्चानवलोकयन्.
This continues this word. प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभिः ब्रह्मचारि व्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तो युक्त आसीत मत्परः. I was telling that then remain prashantatma. You should remain in that post, as I continued in the previous verse, remain in that calm and fearless. Vigata bhihi. Prashantatma, calm and fearless, sticking to principle of brahmacharya. Brahmachari vrate sthitaha. Brahmachari vrate sthitaha. Something supreme path is called brahmachari vrata. Principles of brahmacharya. That is, the principle of brahmacharya is the path of Brahman. Refers to leading a life of purity and not letting mind wander around the trivial things. So when you are focusing on the supreme, it is brahmacharya. Uh, then with that, with the mind under control, manaha sanyamya, then as machitto yukta asita matparaha, sitting like that, looking and at the supreme goal, looking at me, he says, looking at me, thinking of me, because you are not looking at anything. You are in that position. You uh, having controlled, remaining calm, fearless, sticking to the principle of brahmacharya, mind under control, manaha, it is in sanyamya, it is under control. One should sit resolute, thinking of me as the supreme goal. So you're meditating on the supreme. He says me, Krishna, but it's anything supreme. In this context, he uses it as supreme. Prashantatma vigata bhihi
प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभिः
ब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः
ब्रह्मचारिव्रते स्थितः
मनः संयम्य
मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तो
युक्त आसीत मत्परः.
युक्त आसीत मत्परः.
So युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाण परमां सं मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति. So this is a seeker like that, a yogi, uh, constantly disciplining himself with a steady mind. Niyata manasaha. Niyata manasaha is very important. Yes, with a steady mind, attains the supreme bliss, shantim nirvana paramam nirvana. So the supreme peace, paramam nirvana, with a blissful peace. That is something that kind of a peace which is attains in, which is um, that abides in the supreme. That kind of matsamstam adhigachati. That kind of the supreme peace that is abiding in me. That means abiding in the supreme. So yogi also attains the same supreme state. Yunjan nevam sadatmanam
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं
योगी नियतमानसः
योगी नियतमानसः
शान्तिर्निर्वाण परमां
शान्तिर्निर्वाणपरमां
मत्संस्थाम् अधिगच्छति.
मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति.
Then he talked a little bit about how we have to be in moderate for this kind of to practice this kind of a yoga. Not just tatastu yogis yogosti manashratah manashnataha. That kind of hard to read that shana. Manashnataha nachati swapnashilasya jagrato naivacharjuna. Say Arjuna, he says that you should not be, it's not, yoga is not for someone who eats too much or eats too little. It is also not for one who sleeps too much uh, or, or keeps awake too much for too long. So it has to be balanced, right? Not just to. So it is not jagrataha. I should not be always keeping awake for a long time or sleep for a long time. So likewise, you should not be eating too much or not eating at all. So it's a nice balance of uh, your food intake and also your rest. So indeed, yoga is not for one who eats too much. If you do that, it's not state. It is not for that person. Yoga is not for one who eats too much or too little. It's also not for one who sleeps too much or stays awake for too long. So it is yoga is not for such a person. Na na asti astestu yoga asti. For such a person, it doesn't. Yoga is not fit for such a person. If you notice that in all these things, in chapter 16 also comes, Krishna doesn't advocate anything too exotic, like somebody balancing themselves on one foot and standing on the nail or something like that. Lot of very tough postures people do. Uh, Even in meditation, some people we have heard of stories or episodes where they say a fellow was doing penance standing on one foot or balancing himself on his hand or nail or things like that. But Krishna is too much into moderation. He doesn't advocate any very harsh kind of yoga. Not just, not just, Ashna is not just natastu yogosti,
नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति
न चैकान्तमनस्नतः,
न चैकान्तमनश्नतः
न चातिस्वप्नशीलस्य,
न चातिस्वप्नशीलस्य
जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन.
जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन.
So further, he continues the same about moderation. Continues yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yuktas swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkaha. So for one, whereas the same yoga which is hard, if you eat less and if you sleep less or if you keep awake too long, the same yoga becomes very good when you have moderate amount of all destroys. It says yogo bhavati dukkha, destroys all sorrows. For one who takes the right measure of food, yuktahara, vihara is also keeping awake as well as moderate in sleep. Uh, Yukta Swapnava Bodhasya, and they also in staying awake. Uh, so it's moderate in consumption of food, um, it's moderate in sleep and staying awake. That a person works in a disciplined manner, Yukta Chestasya, and enjoys the moments and also recreation, also not overly enjoyed in recreation and enjoys moments of recreation. Yukta Chestasya Karmasu in everything you do. Um, so such a person, whereas yoga, the same yoga which is hard when you are not practicing moderation, whereas the same yoga destroys all sorrows for one who takes the right measure of food, uh, is moderate in sleep and in staying awake, works in a disciplined manner, and enjoys the moments of recreation. Yuktahara viharasya
युक्ताहारविहारस्य
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
युक् युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
योगो भवति दुःखः.
योगो भवति दुःखः.
So it destroys. When you've disciplined, all the dukkha is destroyed by that. So he gives another analogy here, a simile. Yata vinetam chittam atmanyevavatiष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो yukta ityuchyate tada. So with the mind under control and freed from desires, absorbed in the Atman, one attains yoga. Under these conditions, with the mind under control, it is vinayatam chittam. So it is under control and free from desire. Nispraha, then sarva kamebhya. It's a nispraha sarva kamebhya, all desires, freedom from all desires, absorbed. Atmanyeva tishtati, absorbed in the oneself, one attains yoga. Uh, Basically, it's for a very disciplined person. You know, with mind under control, freed from desires and absorbed in the Atma, uh, one attains yoga. So it is inward looking at one at the self within. Yada vinetam chittam
यदा विनि यदा विनियतं चित्तम्
atmanyevavatishtate
आत्मन्येवातिष्ठते
निःस्पृह सर्वकामेभ्यो
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो
युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा
युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा।
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः. So it is just like a lamp which is shielded, um, does not flicker. Nengate sopama sprita. So it is like a upama is using a simile here, just like the lamp that does not flicker when sheltered from the wind. Likewise, a yogi who has mastered his mind or thought by meditating on the Atman, so he's like a lamp that does not flicker when sheltered from the wind. So this is person who has mastered through meditation. Um, his that person's self is like that. It is just like a lamp which is shielded from the wind and it doesn't flicker. यथा दीपो निवातस्थो
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो
नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता
नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता
योगिनो यतचित्तस्य
योगिनो यतचित्तस्य
युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः.
युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः।
So it remains fixed, just like the lamp doesn't um, flicker if it is protected from wind. यत्रोपरमते चित्तं निरुद्धं योगसेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्ति आत्मनि तुष्यति. So now with his thoughts restrained and the mind silenced by regular practice of the yoga, uh, the yogi sees the Atman through the Atman and rejoices in the Atman. So many Atmans here. Right? See, he sees the Atman through the Atman and rejoices in the Atman, fully contained within oneself. Yatro paramate chittam
यत्रो परमते चित्तम्
niruddham yoga sevaya
निरुद्धं योगसेवया
yatra chaivatmanatmanam
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं
pashyantyatmani tushyati.
पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति।
I think I said it wrong. Yeah, right. Pashyannatmani tushyati. Rejoices,
पश्यन्नात्मनि
yeah. Tushyati rejoices within. Uh, Sukamatyantikam yattati buddhigrahyamatindriyam vetti yatra na chaivayam stitas chalati tattvataha. So once the yogi reaches kind of a state, he will never stay away from the truth. Once he attains the infinite bliss, once he has been exposed to Atindriyam, when he has reached that kind of state, his titas chalati, he never stays away from that. He transcends the senses and can be perceived only by um, intuition. He transcends the senses. Sukhamatyantikam yattate
सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तद्
buddhigrahyamathindriyam
बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम्
वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायम्
वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायम्
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः.
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः.
See that kind of bliss, it is beyond the sense organs. Atindriyam, it cannot be just felt with the sense organs, right? Attains the bliss that how can you? It is not sensed by the sense organ. That state of it's beyond that, and only by intuition you can pursue you can perceive that kind of a bliss. यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते. Again, stresses again how stable this person is. Upon gaining that kind of a bliss, the bliss described in the previous verse, he knows there is nothing greater, no greater to be attained. There is no greater attainment. He is not moved even by the deepest sorrow. Gurunapi vichalyate. Nothing can shake this person. He is so firm in that infinite bliss. There is no greater attainment than that. There is nothing greater. Manyase na adhikam tataha. He knows there is nadikam na adhikam tataha. Once he reaches yam labdva cha aparam labham, getting that state of bliss, he knows there is nothing more. And in that kind of state of thing, yasmin sthito na dukkena gurunapi, in that state of mind, even the deepest of sorrow, gurunapi, guru is very heavy, very, very heavy sorrow, deepest of the sorrow is not impacting that person. He's not moved by that. So upon gaining infinite bliss, he knows that there is nothing greater to attain. No greater attainment is needed. Once he is established in that state of mind, nothing can make him to feel bad. So the thing, not moved by even the deepest of sorrow. Yam labdhva cha param labham
यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं
manyate nadhikam tataha
मन्यते नाधिकं ततः.
yasmin sthito na dukkhena
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
gurunapi vichalyate.
गुरुणापि विचाल्यते.
Tam vidya dukkha sanyog viyogam yoga sanjitam sanischayena yoktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa. Continues, kind of goes back and forth. He said he should practice yoga with undaunted determination, for it is a blissful state of being. Is reinforcing that the value of this. So he means one should practice yoga with undaunted determination, right? Without any sanischayena yoktavyam, for it's a blissful state of being. Yogo nirvinna chetasa. Okay. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga
तं विद्या दुःखसंयोग
viyogam yoga sanjitam
वियोगं योगसञ्ज्ञितम्
sanischayena yoktavyo
सनिश्चयेन योक्तव्यो
yogo nirvinna chetasa.
योगो निर्विण्णचेतसा.
संकल्प प्रभवान कामान त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः मनस्सैवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः. So he should in all sankalpam, sasankalpa, all without exception, should renounce all desires born of selfish motives. Sankalpa pravavan kama. Any kind of agenda that comes from selfish desires, he should renounce that completely. Sarva anasheshatah, uh, without any kind of it should be left in that. So with he should fully give it up, renounce it, and he should completely control the senses with the power of the mind. Manasaiva indriya grama. All the activities of the indriyas, manasa eva indriya grama, viniyamya samantataha, should control it. So he should renounce without exception, sarvana sheshataha, without any exception, all desires born of selfish motives. Kama, sankalpa prabhavan kaman. So after that, he should completely control his senses with the power of mind. Uh, sankalpa prabhavan kaman
सङ्कल्पप्रभवान् कामान्
tyaktva sarvana sheshataha
त्यक्त्वा सर्वानशेषतः
manasaivendriyagramam
मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामम्
viniyamya samantataha.
विनियम्य समन्ततः
शनैः बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्. It's instructing how all these things, shanai, slowly, little by little, thinking of nothing else, he should attain stillness of mind. Dhriti has to come. Dhriti grihitaya, buddhya, dhriti grihitaya. Attain stillness of mind and focus it firmly on the Atman. Atma samstam manakritva. Focus the mind completely on the Atman with nakinchidapi chintaye. Should not be thinking of anything else other than the Atman within, or the thinking about the God. That's all. Little by little, thinking of nothing else. He should attain stillness of mind uh, by using his of mind and focus it firmly on the Atman. Shanairuparameth
शनैरुपरमेद्
buddhya dhriti grihitaya.
बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहि बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया
So that is with intellect. He sees it with that intellect. He has to do that. Atma samstam manakritva
आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा
na kinchidapi chintayet.
न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्
Then he says what to do if it still keeps wandering. So yato nischarati manaschanchalamastiram tatastato niyamyetat atmanyeva vashanayet. So wherever the mice wanders, whenever whenever nischarati, whenever it gets unsteady, the restless mind, right, tends to stray away. Manas chanchalam astiram. Manaha chanchalam astiram. So that is tends to wander away. Then he should pull it back. Tatastato niyamyetet. As it goes, bring it back. Yato tatastataha. Tataha yataha tataha. Like tataha. Tatastato niyamyetet. Bring it back under control. Uh, so then Atmanyeva, one's own. You should bring niyamyetet to where? To one's own control. Atmanyeva vasham nayet. Bring it to one's own control. As it wanders, you should bring it back. Whenever the mind is wandering, you should bring it back to one's own control. Basically, take control of the mind. The mind is always wandering. You should take control of that. Yato nischarati
यतो यतो निश्चरति
मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरम्
मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरम्
ततस्ततो नियम्यैतत्
ततस्ततो नियम्यैतद्
आत्मन्यैव वशन्नयेत्.
आत्मन्येव वशन्नयेत्
प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येनं योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम् उपैति शान्तरजसं ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम्. So that is by keeping the mind, prashanta manasam hi enam, indeed keeping the mind in a um, blissful, at times by overcoming restlessness, by keeping the mind calm, right? Keeps his mind calm, then such a person breaks away from evil and turns himself to the Brahman, Brahma Bhuta Makalmasham. He turns it away from anything bad, anything evil, and then tunes himself to the himself towards Brahman. The yogi attains supreme joy, Brahma Bhuta Makalmashamho. Once he overcomes restlessness, uh, Prashanta Manasamhenam, with a very calm mind, keeps his mind calm, breaks free from evil and tunes himself to Brahman. Prashanta Manasamhenam
प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येनं
Yoginam Sukhamuttamam
योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम्
Upaiti Shantarajasam
उपैति शान्तरजसं
Brahma Bhutamakalmasham.
ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम्.
This is nice, sir. Upaiti Shantarajasam is all his passions have been uh, subdued, calmed. Yunjan tada sadatmanam yogi vigatakalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute. That is free from evil, vigata kalmashaha, free from evil, ever in unison with the self. Yunjannevam sadatmanam. The person at once feels boundless joy. Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham, boundless, Atyantam Sukham. He gets that by merging with the Brahman. He gets that at ultimate or boundless joy, Atyantam Sukham, by Brahma Samsparsham, Ashnute reaches. So free from evil and ever in unison with the self. A yogi at once feels boundless joy that comes from merging with the Brahman. His kind of Brahmanandam, yes. Yunjan evam sadatmanam
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं
yogi vigata kalmashaha
योगी विगतकल्मषः
sukhena brahma samsparsham
सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम्
atyantam sukhamashnute.
अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते.
So when one reaches that kind of a state of bliss, then he's able to see the Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. So here he's able to see in that state, sees the Atman in all beings and all beings in the Atman. He sees that oneness, he sees the same every way. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Ikshate, he sees Sarvatra, everywhere he sees the same thing. He sees, just sees the Atman everywhere, the same spirit everywhere. So in that state of mind as we described in the previous verse, so in the yogi sees the Atman in all beings, Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam, see the souls in every living, every being, and then all beings, Sarva Bhutani Cha Atmani, in all beings and all beings in the Atman. So sees Atman in everything and everything in the Atman. And he sees the same everywhere. Ikshate Yoga Yukta Atma. Uh, such a wise yogi sees uh, the same everywhere. Sama darshanaha. Sama, same here is seeing the same speed. Like we talked about Pandita Samadarshanaha, same way. Pandita Samadarshanaha, now he has become Samadars. He's everything. So in the state, the yogi sees the Atman in all beings and all beings in the Atman. He sees the same everywhere. Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam
सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं
sarvabhutani chatmani
सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
ikshate yogayuktatma
ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा
sarvatra samadarshanaha.
सर्वत्र समदर्शनः.
Now, if we elaborate the same sloka in a different way, Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mayi pashyati tasyahan na pranashyami na cha sacha me na pranashyati. So, yaha, that's the person pashyati mam sarvatra, who sees me everywhere. When he says me, it is the Supreme, Krishna, the Supreme. When he sees me everywhere, and sarvancha mayi pashyati, sees everything in me, sees me everywhere and everything in me, tasya aham na pranashyami. To such a person, aham means God or Supreme, is not lost. Sacha me na pranashyati. Such a person is not lost to Brahman also. So he is not uh, Brahman is not, or the God is not lost to him, and he is not lost to God either. One who sees God everywhere and sees everything in the God. So we should use this mom as to the supreme or God, like that. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र
sarvam cha mayi pashyati
सर्वं च मयि पश्यति
tasyaham na pranashyami
तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि
sacha mena pranashyati.
स च मे न प्रणश्यति.
It's a beautiful verse. I love this verse. This is my most favorite verse of Bhagavad Gita. If we can do this, if we can see God in everything, in everyone and everything in God, uh, I think that is the highest state of meditation. That kind of a feeling. So if you can do that, you don't need meditation. सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते. Such a person is aware of this oneness. Sarvabhutassthitam yo mam. He sees me, uh, is aware of oneness and worships me. Vajatyekatvam asthitah. I'm the one seated in everyone and everywhere. And he worships me as the one who lives everywhere. He doesn't have to go looking anywhere. So he worships me as something living everywhere. And even if he's always acting, even if he's doing something else, sarvatha varthamanopi, even he's engaged in something else, some kind of activity, regardless of whatever style of life that person is living, he abides in me. Sayogi mayi vartate, irrespective of what that person does. And we know that in Mahabharata there are episodes of, for example, Vyada, right? This person was actually a butcher, and Dharma Vyada he is called, and a very holy man uh, is meditating under a tree. I think Kaushika or some Muni, and I think was some bird, as a bird dropping on him, he gets mad at that bird, and he basically he has so much power he kills that bird. Then that one lady says, "What you did is not very good. That is not, you shouldn't have done like that." And then he says that go and see, there is a Vyada who will teach you. Then this fellow goes looking for him. Actually, that Dharma Vyada is a butcher who's cutting animals and cleaning them up. Then he looks at this yogi and says, "Oh, so that lady sent you here," he says. He says, "How come this butcher is so well informed?" So he's like a yogi. He's doing different activities, but he's always abiding in the Supreme. So sarvabhutastitam yomam
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो माम्
bhajatyekatvamasthitah
भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः
sarvatha vartamanopi
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
sayogi mayi vartate.
स योगी मयि वर्तते.
But this person is always connected with the Supreme. That is the mindfully connected, regardless of whatever he is doing, what he does, or uh, how he is treated by the society. That also doesn't matter for him. Okay, so he's always connected with the Supreme. Uh, like they say, mindful living, heartful living, like that. This person, his mind is always. This kind of verse comes later in the Gita also. Yat karoshi advises Krishna, yat karoshi edashnasi yajjuhoshi dadasi yat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpana. Whatever you do, offer it to me. Offer it to me as an offering, irrespective of what you do. I think sometime when you are focused on something like that, it is a lot easier to do something, whatever you are doing. You basically are offering it to the Supreme. And I think Devi Gundappa makes a joke. It's a lot easier for him to wash a water buffalo than do Abhishekam to a Saligrama or Shivalinga like that. Because, but he's, even though he's washing water buffalo, something is getting done, but his mind is focused only on the Supreme. So, can we do this sloka one more time? Because Sarva Bhuta Stitam Yomam
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो माम्
Bhajatyekatvamasthitaha
भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः
Sarvatha Vartamanopi
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
Sayogi Mai Vartate.
स योगी मयि वर्तते.
Yeah, I was seeing Supreme everywhere, so I forgot to cut the clock itself. So let me stop here. We have 2, 3 minutes left. If any questions or anything, today there is no hurry to give you highlight. If any questions are there, uh, this is a beautiful verse. I told you, seeing the Supreme in everything. Like we have Purandaradasa song, right? Illi nodidaru Rama, alli nodidaru Rama, like that. So, like, so each one has their favorite poem they can look at.
Koti, sir, a question. My name is Atul.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read Gita. I know somebody is calling you, repeating the same verse. Uh, is it okay if I volunteer and make mistakes and fumble when I'm reading like Sarva Bhutaste Yoma Bhajanti Matsite Sarvatha Vartmanopi Sayogi Mai Vartate?
Yeah, that's very good.
So do you think I can volunteer and read next week
Yeah, sure.
with
Why
you?
don't you volunteer one more time now itself? You can follow me.
Okay,
Sarva
okay.
Bhuta Stitam, Sarva Bhuta Stitam Yomam
सर्वभूत स्थित्यम यो माम
Bhajatyekatvamasthitaha,
भजते एकतम अस्थिता
Bhajatyekatva, Bhajatyekatvamasthitaha,
भजत एक एकत्वम अस अस्ति
Masthitaha,
मस्तिथा
Sarvatha Vartamanopi,
सर्वथा वर्तमानोपि
Sayogi Mayi Vartate.
सहयोगी मयि वर्तते.
Yeah, that's good. Are you Bengali? Yeah.
No. Actually, I'm
Uh,
from UP, but I lived Bangalore for 7, 8 years. So my heart is
okay.
still in Bangalore. So I can speak bit of Kannada,
Uh,
Chanagidi, and all those things. Not more than
okay.
that.
Yeah, I guess I kind of felt the Bengali accent, so I don't know.
Okay, so my accent is mixed. I have been all over the world, and now I'm living in San Francisco.
Where are you from originally? Yeah.
I'm from UP Meerut,
UP
but
Meerut. Okay,
I
okay, yeah.
left my home 40 years back and
Oh, okay. I
joined
love.
ISC Bangalore. I studied there,
Oh,
then
okay.
all over the world.
Okay, very good. I left 44 years ago. So we are all Videsha Moksha for us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Shilpaji, I'll volunteer next time
Yeah,
just to
sure,
read a bit.
definitely. Yeah, Shelter Shilpa ji, she will.
I have you for Tuesday next week, sir.
Mm.
Thank you.
Looks
Yeah,
like
ask you a
Murali
question.
Krishna Bhatt sir has.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about this. This chapter is all about yoga meditation, right?
Yeah,
And
most of dhyana, yeah, meditation. Yeah. Huh?
and a couple of times there are focusing mentioned. Once it says focus on between the eyebrows,
Yeah.
and the other one says focus straight to the tip of the nose. And does it mean just focusing with the eyes closed, or does it mean that you keep the eyes open and look
Your
at?
eyes can be open with the open eyes, but you are not looking at anything. When your eyes are closed, it's not such a challenge to not look at anything, right? It's already closed. The
Mm.
whole idea of sitting straight and all those things is you don't want to end up getting a nap.
Ah, okay.
You want to meditate because meditation and getting slumber are very similar. So that's why I ask you to not lean on anything, sit straight, and eyes can be open and they are not looking at anything. If your
Mm.
eyes
So,
are closed, it's not a big challenge, right? You don't see
mm.
anything anyway. Even that no tip of the nose, the nasikagre means beginning part of the nose. We don't know. Some people say nose begins from here. Some people think nose begins here. So I think the idea is either way, it doesn't matter. You are not looking at anything. You are looking inward because
Mm.
we can't look at this one or we can neither look at
Yeah, you
another.
will get headache if you start to look at the bottom of the nose. You will start getting headache immediately.
Basically, yeah. If you,
I just
basically,
have a
you
comment to
should
make.
not try to look at anything. Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a comment. I attend my cousin's yoga class from Mangalore. He does online. He
Yeah.
teaches meditation, dhyana, like Ashtanga yoga, little of everything for all age group. When in the meditation, he says sit straight, and then he says focus on your breathing, in and out.
Breathing, yeah.
Continuously meditate. So either it is nostril tip or whether it is sinus area like the between the eyebrows. I think maybe they're connected. Sometimes it says
Yeah. Well,
between the
something
eyebrows or
like
focus on your
breathe, yeah.
breathing. That's what he says.
Like we're all breathing all the time, right? That's something
Right,
to
right,
focus on. We
right,
had that kind of in the chapter 4, right? Apane juffati pranam
right.
prane panam tata pare pranayama gati ritva pranayama parayana. That's also one kind of meditation. Also, all those things are they're focusing on something like that. Focusing on the breath here, looking at inwards.
Tons of yochane thoughts keep on coming, right? You have to minimize. To minimize that, he slowly says, let it come, and then slowly bring your focus to your breathing.
For the
That's
mind,
how,
yeah.
yeah.
Mind is
That's how
always
he says. So just thought, yeah, I'll add the point. That's it.
yeah.
What is that? Do you have a opinion as to if the meditation is easier done in the morning or evening, or is it more effective done in the morning or evening, or does Bhagavad Gita say anything about it?
It doesn't say anything about timing. It just says go to a little isolate yourself, not too much in a crowd, in a clean place. That's all it says. It can be even room anywhere. Um, it doesn't have to be uh, any very important place. But usually the people suggest to use the same place, kind of a same spot,
Mm.
like a puja room or whatever. Use the same spot for the activity. That's what they say.
Mm.
The timing is whatever is fit for the person. Each person is different. Usually, typically in the morning, when we early in the morning, we are not still gotten into daily activities. It makes it good to meditate. But if you look at meditation, is part of Sandhya Vandanam. It's there. In Sandhya Vandanam, we do in the morning, we do in the afternoon, we do in the evening, 3 times, 3 junctions. Each Sandhya Vandanam has at least, we are supposed to do Gayatri, meditate on Gayatri for 108 Gayatri. That's quite a bit of time. So there is meditation in that. The time is not, I mean, what time of the day you do is not that important, whatever, because we are doing morning, afternoon, as well as evening, all the Trikala Sandhya meditation. So whatever is convenient for one person.
In the morning, if you're doing meditation, it is best done after taking a shower, I would think.
Yeah.
I heard from one of the small workshop that I attended from uh, Miss Ravi Shankar Guruji's, what is it called? Some kind of short 2 days session, and on that they are teaching that you do some kind of like physical workout, like warm up before going into meditation. Is that something commonly done, or?
I don't know. No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not a meditator, so I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because for me, everything I do itself is a meditation for me. So, in other words, I don't assign a particular time. A lot of time I do sometime while taking bath. And because I'm doing all my sandhya, all the Trikala sandhya and Ekakala while taking bath with a bucket bath. I take typically about half an hour bath, and I'm doing meditation there itself. So that's the reason you can tune to whatever is convenient for you. But a lot of time, people who teach meditation, they ask you to do it at a particular time in a particular way, basically to discipline. That's all. Make it as a regular practice.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people join courses even though they don't need, because that going to attending something, it disciplines them. Left to us, we may now let me do later or like that. May do. But, so meditation is it basically you can be meditating while lying down on bed also. That's why they say that a lot of time in a big issue to discuss, we don't know the solution. They say sleep on it. So they sleep on it in the early morning, somehow the idea comes, some answer comes to that. Just sleep on that problem, they say. So, like if you say in this chapter, he never mentioned what time you should be doing it or anything like that. He didn't say do it only in the evening or in the morning or like that.
Right.
I think we can close it off. See you tomorrow. Thank you all. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् यतः कृष्ण ततो यतो धर्म ततः कृष्णः यतः कृष्ण ततो जयः. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.